up, everybody? It's your Browns Friday Fumble.
Fall on it.
Don't try to pick it up and run. We are in week 3 mode.
Trace.
And we are riding high on a Browns victory celebration.
Victory Monday, victory Tuesday, Wednesday, victory Thursday.
And now it is Victory Friday for the Browns Friday Fumble, and we are having fun.
Lots of it.
We've had 4 days worth of fun.
Well, I had probably the most fun, I think, mostly because my prediction covered the spread amply.
Oh, I got to hand it to you. You were right there with your prediction.
26-17 is what I put on the board.
And 28-14, not far off for my friend, so that is good work on you.
Thank you.
Both of us, I would say both of us are at 100% on our predictions because I predicted the Week 1 Johnny Manziel, you predicted the Week 2 score. We're both at 100%. Perfect.
100%. Perfect.
So great job. Of course,
let's talk about the game.
Let's talk about the game. Dylan and I went down there. We had a pretty good time. Down there.
I had a blast.
Always a great time to go down to the old First Energy Stadium. We had a good time. It wasn't perfect, if you ask me.
Oh, I had a great time. Got to do all my, I have some routines.
Yeah, you're a creature of habit, definitely. I really, to be level with you folks, we got there a little late. I didn't pick the parking. That's kind of Dylan drove. Dylan picked the parking.
Listen, I have the perfect spot, and I'm kind of hesitant to tell, broadcast it.
I really don't think you're going to need to worry about.
Well, I always park over right beside Westside Market. Little to no traffic, folks. Get a real nice spot.
I offered to pay
a little cheaper than what Dave was willing to.
I was willing to pay
$20.
We could just get a spot a little closer.
Yeah.
We could have got there for there was a flyover. We did see the flyover, but that's while we were walking over the bridge.
Right over the bridge. Well, it's a beautiful walk. All in all, we got in there. I think 2 touchdowns have been scored.
Yeah, it was right after the Isaiah Crowell touchdown. So let me tell you, the atmosphere there.
Oh, pumped!
It was buzzing in there. It was a lot. It was pretty awesome. Browns are up 14-0. Awesome thing. I did have a little bit of a problem, thanks to the quote unquote stadium improvements. There are no nachos near section 525 anymore, which is kind of where I expect to see some nachos. That's where we sit.
Well, we used to call it 525 Old Faithful.
Old Faithful, and now thanks to these, as I said, quote-unquote improvements, now there's some gourmet sandwich thing there, and it's I don't want that. I want nachos in a plastic football.
Right, exactly.
So let's a little more talk about our game day experience. I was, of course, wearing my Lee Suggs jersey. It's
Puma.
One of my favorites. It's the Puma. And what tell our listeners what you had.
Well, thought it was a safe bet at the time, but the Pro Bowl Derek Anderson #3.
Oh, the white with red stars. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful jersey.
It really seemed like a keeper at the time.
Yeah, not every day you get a Pro Bowl quarterback.
I mean, when have we,
Just that once. We loved the Wiener Dogs racing halftime. Those cute little guys. I'm surprised Swagger didn't, eat one of them.
Get out there and take care of business.
One bite.
Swagger won that one.
He won the
put your money on Swagger.
Yeah, put your money on Swagger on that one. But
young kids.
So as far as the rest of the game goes, I watched it on Game Pass later. I kind of had wanted to stay, but
okay. I feel like a little bit of aggression here. I feel like I need to defend myself a little bit. If you find yourself on 77 South anytime past 4:25 on a game day Sunday, you're in for a heck of a ride home. I don't know if any of y'all have ever experienced one of those.
But who cares? I mean, you're spending the day there. It doesn't
look. All in all, great day. You
know what? I just feel like had I seen that last touchdown pass in person.
You got to get out of there before the clock strikes
I got my Uncle Jack's tickets. He gave them to us. He's been giving me those seats since he got them in 2003, and he hasn't moved to better seats.
Let me just
yet.
He's
sticking with the corner.
I don't want to be sitting right beside Brecksville exit 82 there for longer than the 5 minutes that it takes me.
I don't want to get back into this. We got into it in the car a little bit, but I don't. We had the Browns won. I saw the end of the game on Game Pass. I guess it was fine.
And you know what? You can't beat a Doug Deacon call.
That's true. We did get to hear the call-in show in the car. Okay, well let's get basically bottom line Browns victory though.
Yeah, all in all, great day.
So that brings us to a new segment this week. They're very popular. We did a little bit of research on the site www.nfl.com.
I mean, everybody's doing them.
There's one on www.espn.com. There's one on www.foxsports.com.
SI.com even.
You mean www.si.com?
Right.
I just don't want to send people to the wrong places.
Right.
They're power rankings. So if the standings aren't enough for you, to, hey, I'm number one in the division or something like that, we take an insider's look at where each team stacks up in the league.
Did a little bit of analysis.
We, though, felt like we can't really comment on games we haven't really seen, so our power rankings are a little different. So let's start. Do you want to start at the bottom or start at the top?
Let's start at the bottom.
Okay, so coming in at the rear, the real bottom feeders of the NFL.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans at number 3.
Tennessee Titans.
They're 1-1. They had a little bit of a letdown after their big win in Week 1 to get beat by our Brownies in Week 2. So 1-1, bottom of the table.
Yeah, after just a landmark rookie debut game. I
would have had them ranked higher last week, but
absolutely.
They also took the biggest fall.
The biggest fall.
That's a feature some of these power rankings have.
Icarus and Deadless.
Yep. Number 2, good old Brownies.
Cleveland Browns,
sitting
folks.
there at 1-1 with the head-to-head victory over the Titans puts them in at number 2.
Coming right above where we've placed the Titans in this power rankings order.
And then cream of the crop of the NFL, sitting at 2-0, number 1, New York Jets.
The New York Jets. Turns out they're pretty good.
They're 2-0.
They're pretty good.
They're 2-0, and the Browns are 1-1, and the Titans are 1-1. So that puts them healthily at the top of the power ranking.
Power ranking number 1.
All right, moving on. A little bit of Browns news.
We got a position battle on our hands.
Yeah, you knew we were going to talk about it. Like, the second this podcast started to download, you're like, I want to hear Dylan and Dave's take on this. It's been being talked about all week.
All week. Everybody, the locker room is abuzz.
Oh, and I bet it's split just about 50-50, too.
I can't imagine it would go either way.
I've seen not as much coverage on it as I thought, but a lot of coverage on it. And we're, of course, talking about your man, Hausler, and my man Barnidge, tight end position battle.
Tight end battle to, is it going to be to the death? I don't know.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't come to that.
There's a lot of vitriol out there right now.
But you can just tell in the interviews that half the team is going for Hausler, half the team is going for Barnidge, and they're like, hey, we need to get Hausler some experience.
Yeah.
We know what we've got in Barnidge. We need to get Hausler out there and see what he can do.
See what he can do. And you know what? I'm an emotional man. I react from my gut, and when I see Hausler out there performing the way that he has for the minimal amount of time that we've seen him, granted, you got to put some faith in the kid.
Well, I just wonder if you that might be something that you believe if you were, say, like from New Zealand and just learned about football last week, because that's dumb. He's horrible. The only way we're going to score touchdowns is with Barnidge. He's a working man's tight end, hard hat, lunch pail, safety goggles, safety shoes, gloves, union guy. He knows the right to work is the cancer of the working class. He sees that billboard on 77.
You mentioned touchdown scoring.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I just want to point out, Hausler, this kid's working with an arm length. Listen to me now. 34.5 inches. This guy's working with wingspan. Hand size, that's the part of the body that catches the football. 9 3/4 of an inch.
You know what? The only time I care about hand size is when I'm measuring you up for work gloves because you're a working man's tight end, and you got to I don't even want the inches. I just need to know, is that a large or is that an extra large? Because I want those gloves to be comfortable and protective all at once. Because you're a working man's tight end.
Yeah, we got to pay attention to safety standards as well.
You know what? There's one thing that we both agree on, is there could be a dark horse in this battle.
That's very true.
EJ Bibbs. We both are up in the air on that one.
Yeah, I mean, EJ could come out of nowhere and really just take everybody by storm here.
So, yeah, I mean...
And we could be talking about a whole different battle next week.
Different battle next week, and I don't know that we're really going to get in. I mean, I don't know that we can really get to the bottom of it today. We don't have that long of a show.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And again, we'll see Sunday. We'll see who the coaches go with, who gets more reps. They say that Barnage has been getting the snaps in practice, but we'll see.
Cream rises to the top, and we're just going to see.
Yep. So
another interesting item that I don't know if it made a whole lot of national news. I actually picked it up on Deadspin, but this has to do with the Raiders showing a little cross-bay vigilantism.
Yeah.
Not refusing to paint the 50. I don't know if anybody's noticed this year.
You know, I originally thought that there was a problem with my TV or the field itself. Maybe Swagger went out there and took a little swagger on the 50-yard lines, tinted him a bit.
Well, as you all know, it is the 50th Super Bowl this year. And
I think they're distancing themselves from Super Bowl L.
Yeah, which rightly so.
Rightly so.
But we actually we have a treat for everyone today.
Yeah, so essentially what we found out is the Raiders groundskeeper, there are many theories about why, has pretty much refused to paint the 50-yard lines gold. This is not a fake story. This is a real story. And they said they were speculation as to, was it because of the Oakland A's still playing? And then he said, no, I'm not doing it for the rest of the year.
Right. So we decided to get to the bottom of it.
We made a few calls, played a little bit of phone tag. You ever been in that situation before? I have.
I sure have.
Calling this guy.
Yeah, especially with his answering machine.
Yeah,
I haven't heard one of those in a while.
So, I guess I'd like to just first say welcome to Mr. Ed Murkowski, head's groundskeeper for the Oakland Raiders. Ed, how's it going?
It's gone better.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us and get a little insight. It's a bit of a sticky situation out there in Oakland.
Yeah, I saw the area code when you called me the other day. Asked me to do an interview with you, and I saw it was in the 216, which is also the area code where one of my favorite paint companies is Sherwin-Williams. They make a quality field paint a lot better than the crap they make us use now. I miss those days. It's a good paint, quality, high quality.
Oh, fan of the SW, huh, Ed?
Yeah, they make a nice thick paint. You can really get the grass stained good. It's not going to come off when you use that paint.
Well, I feel like their company philosophy of covering the earth really applies to their
it's a good
field.
Place to start.
Yeah, it's a good place to start, and then we'll
I
paint
think
everything
that would
else.
actually make the earth a lot better looking. When I go to the park, I see green trees, grass. I'm sick of that. I'd like to paint it all red and maybe a cobalt, something that will really shine off when the sun hits it.
I love it. So, first question, Ed. I think it's the only place in the NFL that still does this. What is it like having a baseball field in the middle of your football field?
Okay. what do you do for a living there, young man?
Oh, well, you put me on the spot here. I'm in the metals business myself.
Okay. Now, imagine you were in the metals business and you had to make metals every day. And then you get a job where not only do you have to make metals, but you also have to learn how to be a carpenter.
All right.
Because I got to make that grass green and I got to make it good. But I also got to make sure it looks good for a baseball game because, we got the Anaheim Angels coming in and we got the Seattle Mariners, and there's still about 3 weeks left in the Major League Baseball season, and I still got to make all that extra grass that goes beyond the outfield. I got to make that painted. We get like a day and a half to switch the numbers over and switch the lines. So it's a pain in my tuchus if you really want to know the truth.
They don't even like it raining. They don't even like it raining on the baseball field.
No, they'll just stop if it rains.
Exactly. Baseball fields, they got a whole union regulations. They got 8 guys to pull a piece of plastic over it. It's pretty much a joke, but I got to work around that when it comes to painting, and it's just basically a pain.
Well, you mentioned the Sherwin-Williams paint before, and you said that something about the stuff that the NFL makes you use. What brand of paint do you have to use?
We use a paint called Eco Templine. It is an environmentally friendly paint brand that doesn't permanently stain the grass, which means we got to paint it all every single week because we got to help the earth because, there might be animals eating off our football field, or I don't know. Nobody's going to touch that grass. I think it's a waste. We're not hurting the environment.
Well, out there in the Bay Area, you do have a lot of environmentally conscious people, so I'm sure that's...
We got a lot of hippies, and it's annoying. They're not Raiders fans. They ain't coming to see us play, our team, the Raiders. They're going to see the 49ers or, spend their money on an orchestra. Who cares if the grass stays white for the rest of the year?
Okay, well, does that have any influence as to why you decided to paint the number 50s white instead of gold?
Well, it wasn't a decision, and I don't get why it's got people up in arms. I painted it white, and then they said, Ed, you got to paint it gold, and I said no. It was painted white. I'm going to keep it white.
Well, how do you feel, though, about the commemoration of the 50th Super Bowl and the whole gold principle this season?
What?
Ed, I gotta say, I'm standing up with you on this one. I gotta say, they're having that big game and all that revenue going right across the bay over to them 49ers. Nobody likes the Niners anyway. I'm standing with you in solidarity on this one.
Thanks. What was your name, buddy?
Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate your help. I need, I guess, people to get behind me. I just think they should just let me leave it white.
Well, it could be about paint color. It could be about the dominance of the greater NFL corporation as a whole. Tomato.
I want to know why you're defying Roger Goodell, the protector of this league.
That Roger Goodell, you touched a sore subject there, pal, when you brought up that guy's name. We had a good commissioner, and his name was Paul Tagliabue. And, he would come by every once in a while. And one time I was on the field, and he goes, "Boy, these lines are sharp." And I said, thank you, sir. But that Goodell, he hasn't once even been at the field, let alone compliment my handiwork. So I think he's a little full of himself. So maybe I don't need to follow his rules. He's not noticing my work until I screw up, according to a letter I got from the league office.
Ed, you're clearly a man of the people. I want to know if there's a way that our listeners, if I can feel some of them getting riled up right now and wanting to support the cause. Is there a place that maybe a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter, maybe we anything that we can start supplying you with the necessary funds to fight this battle?
GoFundMe?
Yeah, it's a internet website.
Oh, it's a computer thing. Elaine, is Daniel working on that website for me? Okay. My wife said that my son-in-law Daniel is handling all that internet stuff. So I think if you open up your computer and you type in Ed Murkowski, it should take you to whatever he set up.
Thanks, Ed. Thank you so much for that.
And one last question. We really appreciate your time. This is kind of we talked about the controversy enough. Let's talk about you, Ed. If you could paint anything you wanted onto grass on a football field, what would it be?
If I could paint anything I wanted, I would paint a football field on the football field, just what I do every week, because that's what belongs on a football field. None of this extra stuff. They're just the numbers, the hash marks, and the lines.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks again, Ed. We really appreciate it. We've really gotten some new insight into what you do every day in this burning controversy.
All right.
Anything you'd like to leave the fans in Cleveland with before we let you go, Ed?
My brother got married to a girl from Cleveland. I believe she was from Cuyahoga Heights, and we went to the wedding about 33 years ago, and I enjoyed myself. I haven't been back since, but I come. Are you guys paying me now, or are you sending a check for this phone call?
There's going to be it's more of kind of a gift basket that you'll be receiving.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ed.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. We really appreciate your time, and thanks once more.
All right. Take care of yourselves.
Thanks, Ed. That was some great stuff there.
Yeah, I really like Ed's enthusiasm for the game at such an age.
Yeah, he really provided us some good information, and we'll see what happens.
Hope to see him when he comes back to town.
Not many people who tangle with Roger Goodell come out on top. Just ask your boy Tom Brady.
Indeed.
Okay, let us move on to our next subject, the Raiders.
Know your foe.
So, got into a little bit of research into the Raiders. If you remember last year, their coach was fired mid-season. Tony Soprano was brought in to be the interim head coach. And at the end of the year, very much like happened when the Browns had an interim head coach a few years ago, they said, sorry, Mr. Soprano, we do not want your services going forward. So they started over. They brought in Jack Del Rio, who appears to be a major bowl cut supporter.
Definitely a bowl cut supporter. This guy is also, we caught him in Ski School, I think was the movie, back in 1986 or something.
Yes, he definitely looks like a ski movie villain.
Yeah.
Who wants to buy the mountain and turn it into an open pit mine for minerals.
Right.
Not even gold or anything interesting. He wants copper.
And the Manning brothers have to defend the mountain against the evil Del Rio.
Oh, I'm sure at one point he's about to push a plunger on some dynamite and he gets hit in the hand with a football.
Yes, expertly thrown by Eli, which surprises Peyton that he was so accurate.
And Archie Manning is standing there and goes, "Huh." So that's
the old eyebrow.
So we have to take a little break now and write this movie script. But as far as the the team goes,
let's talk about Raider culture for a second.
That's one of the biggest deals with the Raiders is you really think about their fans first and foremost.
Right. The infamous black hole, which we're all aware of.
We're all aware of the black hole.
Nobody wants to go in there.
No, it's like the dog pound if everyone in the dog pound had just gotten back from a Mushroom Head concert.
Yeah.
And hadn't had time to change, so they just showed up to the game.
Right. And it's actually interesting that where they do their summer training.
This is very interesting as a juxtaposition to the fans themselves.
To the Mushroom Head concert, they're all summering in Napa, where they have their preseason camps.
Yeah, the Raiders training camp takes place in Napa. So they have a little Merlot, skim
a little
the playbook,
some brie after practice, soft cheeses.
I'm reading the playbook out on the veranda.
Good pairings.
So yes, another big fan of the Raiders. Every Lids customer in the 1990s.
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
that was the most popular hat for hat enthusiasts in the
Simon
90s.
Mall. Were the Raiders sponsored by Simon?
I think if you bought the hat, you got a free slice of Sbarro pizza.
So let's get to where we always get about this time: celebrities.
I'll do you one better than Faith Hill this week. That's for sure.
I can't. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, we all know this one, and I don't know if it's just because of his days in L.A. while the Raiders were in L.A., but Ice Cube.
Ice Cube has actually penned Oakland Raiders songs.
Many of them, actually.
And if you're feeling brave, go down to YouTube later today and check those out.
Yeah, we chose to skip them.
Yes. Another notable fan of the Oakland Raiders, George Lopez.
All right. Funny man George Lopez. And, of course, just like our power rankings, we save the best for last.
The absolute best, hands down.
Dirty food enthusiast, spiked-haired haver.
TGI Fridays having...
Salsa magnate, Guy Fieri. Not the guy from Smash Mouth.
Not Smash Mouth.
Guy Fieri. So that's their big trio of celebrity fans. A lot better, easy to find than the Titans, that's for sure.
It's a pretty powerful fan base. Pretty powerful.
Powerful fan base.
A lot of pull.
We do a lot of research about rosters and depth charts, and it got me thinking that luckily there's no depth perception chart because the Raider on the side of the helmet's wearing an eye patch, and he would not pass that test.
He would not be seeing past where you're looking. You got that right.
This is definitely a classic NFL look. The Raider is wearing a really old-style helmet, and he's kind of just if you look at his picture, I want everybody listening, not if you're driving, but if you're listening and can, just Google the logo and look at the picture.
We're talking the beginnings of footballing.
Like, this guy, also, he doesn't seem like he's in that bad of a mood, despite the fact that he lost an eye.
Nope.
He's just rolling with it. He seems like, all right, football time.
He is a man's man.
He is a man's man.
He's the man your father wanted you to be.
Now, they also have, classic look, and I know a lot of Browns fans lamented that the Browns don't have a classic look like this anymore. But the Raiders have a very, even more classic look that it's almost like they collect all the jerseys from the guys at the end of every game, and then they've been using the same ones for 20 years.
Like gym class pennies.
Right. I'm not saying that they haven't changed the design in 20 years. I'm saying that these are the same physical jerseys.
Actual jersey. Actually, fun fact, the reason that Bo Jackson's jersey isn't down in Canton at the Pro Hall of Fame is they're actually still using it.
They needed it. They called for it, and they're like, "No, we
have a number 34 in training camp right now.
We need him. If we cut him, we might be able to send it, but we also need it for next year.
So if you could send it back,
not a lot of spare numbers when you got 90 guys in camp. So
exactly.
So yeah, kind of a classic look that they're sporting.
But let's move over to the roster,
okay,
and talk about what's going on and what we're going to be facing this week. And I think the The biggest thing we need to look out for this week is this arsenal of receivers that Oakland is working with. I mean, we're looking at Michael Crabtree on one side, and you got Amari Cooper on the other side. I mean, just take those two independent of the rest of the offense, and you've got some real weapons. However, and we discussed this earlier, the problem is the delivery system.
Yeah, I really think it would have been a little more appropriate for our opponent last week, the Houston Oilers, to have drafted Oil Derek Carr.
Oil Derek Carr, yes.
But, yeah, that unfortunately will be the problem with your receivers. Now, of course, the Browns have taken the opposite approach and tried to field a good quarterback with no receivers. So
Zero receiving core.
We're going to see how each of these tactics works.
Well, they're really theories, I think.
These are more theories, yeah. And I'll tell you one thing. What we learned this week is that Tashawn Gibson will be fueled by turkey bacon in his pursuit of the ball this week, because that's what we learned in an interview this week with Tashawn Gibson.
The quest for the ball?
Fueled by turkey bacon.
All right.
I'd also, in our little roster discussion, like to give you the deep cut of the week, brought to you by our friend and associate Dan Holmes, that the Raiders' John Kondo and the Browns' Rob Hausler will be meeting for the first time since they passed the real estate exam and went their separate ways. And now it is time for our return segment, the Manziel Watch.
Manziel Watch Week 3.
Week 3. Dylan.
Okay, we are going to see my man, Johnny Football, Johnny Texas, Johnny Cleveland, Johnny Manziel. We're going to see him late second quarter, right before they head into the locker room. What they're going to try to do is give him some confidence, build it up a little bit. That way you got something to talk about and review in the locker room. Come out strong in the third quarter with the run game. And you got wheels at quarterback position and in the backfield.
I'll tell you when I think Johnny Manziel's going to come out, if I have anything to do with it, which I will. After the third incomplete pass, check down pass, or running play run by Josh McCown, the Boo Birds are going to come out. The Johnny Chants are going to come out, and we're going to make that McCown helicopter on out of there pronto, because this is Johnny country, baby.
And that'll wrap it up for Manziel Watch Week 3.
Week 3.
All right, so now the moment everyone's been waiting for.
I've been waiting for this moment since Sunday evening.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're checking in with Dave's fantasy team.
Now, before we get into it too much, at the end of the episode, or perhaps at the beginning of the episode, Craig has given you a place where you can sign up for FanDuel with other waiting for next year players. This was the week that I could have held up the giant novelty check.
You should have been in it this week. You should have been there, Dave. My man lives and dies by the Cleveland Browns' success.
After week 1, I went all in. I am one of probably 7 people in the country that started Travis Benjamin, who got 46 points.
Reaped the rewards.
Led me to the highest point total of the week, 174.
Blew everybody out, probably going to remain the highest point total for the rest of the season.
Including the commish.
Including the commissioner, #obsessed.
It is prediction time. Raiders coming up this week. We know about their field.
Coming into Cleveland.
They are coming into Cleveland, and we are worried that the bus driver is going to drop them. Even though he was instructed to drop them at First Energy Stadium, the players will insist that they're dropped off at Progressive Field because they're used to playing football on a baseball field.
Right. There may be some confusion. We hope that they can avoid that.
I know for a fact it's not that long of a walk.
So I've got...
Let's hear it. Your Week 3 Browns-Raiders prediction. What do you got?
I've got the Browns coming home strong after the Week 2 victory, coming out strong, feeling pumped. 26-17 Browns over the Raiders.
I love it. As well as the defense has been playing with their offensive weapons, I am saying shootout time up there in old Seatown, because after the Boo Birds have chased away Joshy Chopper helicopter, I'm saying the Browns take it shootout style to the Raiders, 35-28.
35-28, folks. That's a good, healthy margin.
I'm going to say, if you look at the statistics, Travis Benjamin is on pace to have another 2 touchdowns this game. And it looks like the Browns' glory for this week is about to be achieved with 2 favorable predictions coming from the foremost predictors in Cleveland.
100%, folks.
Both of us have perfect 100% prediction records in certain topics. So how can we not be trusted on these issues?
Exactly.
All right, that about wraps it up. If you want to get in touch with me or Dylan, I am on Twitter at Democo.
And I am on there at Dylan B. Price.
Also, big thanks to Chris Clem for helping us out this week. You can get to him at Chris Clem on Twitter. All right, let us send it back to Craig. This has been the Browns Friday Fumble.